Okay, we're going to talk about slope-intercept form, and the essential question is, how do I put the equation in slope-intercept form if the y is not alone or in the wrong place? So, when you're trying to find what the m is or what the b is, it needs to be in the right format. And the form I'm talking about is the slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. Well, sometimes it doesn't look as neat as that. Sometimes it looks something like this. In this example, it's negative 4x plus 2y equals 16. We want to get it to look like y equals mx plus b. So what we have to do is basically move things around so that we can get the y alone and it in the form mx plus b on the right. So what do? Well, we know the first thing we could do is we can take this whole term out of here and move it like furniture into another room. So if you can imagine like the T, and these are two different rooms, you want to have the y on the left side because we see that's where it should end up. And we want to get this out of the room. So how do we get it out of the room? Well, we add it, we do the opposite, except this time we're doing the opposite with the whole term, not just we're not getting anything alone. We're just moving it to the other side. So if we add 4 over here, this will cancel out on this side, and then we have add 4x on this side. Add 4x here and here because we want it balanced, okay? So now what do we have here? Well, we have, I'm going to bring it down, we have 2y equals, right, because this equal sign is slid down, and then we have 4x plus 16, because those are both positive terms there. So now it's getting closer to y equals mx plus b, but it's still not right because we still have the y next to the 2. And we know if we want to get that y alone, we can divide by 2. So let's do that, divide by 2. And if we do that here, we have to do it everywhere under each term. So here we cancel this out and this becomes y equals 4 divided by 2 is 2, and then we bring down the x plus 8. And now this is the final answer because you can see it's in the slope-intercept form of y equals mx plus b. And then from here we see the slope is a 2 and the y-intercept is an 8. Okay, so this is going to take a little bit of practice, but not a big deal once you get the hang of it. Let's do this one again. We want to do our formula y equals mx plus b. That's our main goal. So we're going to set up our t, okay? We know the y has to be alone on the left side, so we're going to take this piece of furniture right here and move it to the other room. We're going to do the opposite. If I see minus 2y, I'm going to add 2y there, and I'm going to add 2y there. I'm going to cancel this out. I'm going to bring down my 3y, and I'm going to bring down my equal sign. Now, I'm sorry. This should have been, sorry. This should have been 2x. Oops. Wow. This should have been 2x. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, so 2x, and 2x. Okay, let's do that again. Okay, so the original formula is negative 2x plus 3y equals 6, okay? So we're going to add 2x on both sides. These cancel out. Now you get 3y, which is this, equals 2x plus 6. There. Okay, and we knew to put the 2x first because we know the mx comes before the b. So this would be the mx and this would be the b, except we're not really done yet because our y is still not alone. So how do we get the y alone? Well, we divide by 3 here, but we also have to divide by 3 under every term. Now, we get 3 divided by 3 is 1, so the y is alone equals, this is a fraction, and it can stay as a fraction. 2/3 x plus 6 divided by 3 is 2. So now you can see, if you compare it to y equals mx plus b, that our m is 2/3 and our b is a 2. Okay, so it's in the proper form. Okay, sorry about the mistake on that one. We'll do a couple more so you feel good. Okay, 6x equals 10 minus y. Again, the format we're looking at is y equals mx plus b. We want it to look like that. We see the y is over here, and we kind of have to think about a strategy for getting everything moved over. What we can do is let's move the y over to the left side because that's where it wants to be, right? So if we add the y here, remember, you have the t, right? You're going to add the y here and add the y here. And then you have, we'll put the y first because we know the y should go first. Y plus 6x equals 10. So we're getting closer, but we're not quite there because now we want it to be y all by itself, right? So if we set up our t again, what do we have to move out of that room so that the y is by itself? Well, we have to move the 6x out of there. So we're going to subtract 6x here, subtract it here. This cancels out and you get y equals negative 6x plus 10. And that's the y equals mx plus b formula. And you can see, if you had the formula right underneath, you can see the m is a negative 6 and the b is a 10. So we're doing the right thing there. Okay, we have a couple more examples. Here we go, y plus 12x equals 0. Okay, again, we want it to be as y equals mx plus b. Okay, so how are we going to get that? Well, this is pretty simple. If you set up your t like this, it's clear that this has to move to the other side, right? We want the y by itself. So we just move this by subtracting to the other side. And all you get is y equals, well, this crosses out, right? Y equals negative 12x plus 0, right? So really, we don't need this plus 0 because this is really showing us our b is equal to 0 and our m is equal to negative 12. We can simply write that as y equals negative 12x. We don't need to write the plus 0, okay? So in this example, again, our m is a negative 12 and our b in this case would be 0. Okay, I think we have one more example. Okay, and we're thinking about, again, y equals mx plus b. And how are we going to get this in that form? Well, I can see if I set up my t, I can see who's in the room with my y, but the 2/3 x, and I want to move that out of that room into the other room. So I am going to subtract, because this is a positive 2/3 up here, right? I'm going to do the opposite sign underneath, so it's minus 2/3 x here, minus 2/3 x on this side. These guys cancel out. And don't forget this sign right here. This sign travels down, minus y equals. That minus y is the same as adding a negative. So this becomes a negative y, okay? So if you ever see a subtraction in front of that y, when you bring it down, make sure you're bringing down that subtraction because it does become a negative y. Okay, so negative y equals negative 2/3 x plus 3. Okay, so now what? Well, let's think about this. If we have a negative y there, that's really the same as saying a negative 1y, isn't it? And if we want to get rid of that sign, we can divide each term by negative 1. And what happens when we do that? Well, now this cancels out, which is what we want. We don't want it to be a negative y. We want it to just be a y. So then y equals, well, negative 2/3 divided by negative 1 just makes this a positive 2/3, right? X. And then different signs, when you do division, you get a negative answer. So it becomes a plus a negative 3, which is the same as minus 3. So this was probably the trickiest one, so replay it just so you get it. But again, when you have plus a positive 3 here, this is 3 divided by negative 1. So on the side it becomes, let's see, 3 divided by -1 becomes a -3. And when you have plus a -3, it's the same thing as a -3. That's why I wrote a -3 right there, okay? So that's where that came from. So in this example, the m, the slope would be 2/3, and the b would be -3, because adding a negative is the same as subtraction. So the b would be -3 there. Okay, definitely replay this and practice it, because slope and slope-intercepts, super, super important. So you need to be really comfortable with it, and you'll be good to go.